Tommy, are you ready
that
to
would be
show
me.
the new user interface?
I think so. Yeah.
And just to remind, even the look and feel changes quite a lot. It will not happen instantly, and you will get to try it first in parallel with the existing one. And when we are ready and you are ready, then the shift begins and so on. So there's no hurry. You get to train yourself and your employees to the new user interface.
All right, I think we can start.
Yes.
So, hello everyone, my name is Toni Uimonen, and I am with Janne, going to show you a sneak peek, as you said, of the new user interface. And as was mentioned in the previous presentation, the tool is as good as its data. So that's actually what we are trying to do here. We are trying to make it even more usable in order to have the people to really use it. So that's kind of the idea behind it all. This is the old version, as you might have guessed by now. And let's go straight to the demonstration. Here we go. Let's say first time in the world, I think, we are showing this new version of our user interface. As you can see, kind of a fresh, clear, lighter version of Silverbucket.
And is this the same view as you had in the other tab?
It is. And as Janne mentioned, we are not trying to make things any more complicated. We are trying to make things better and easier, but we are still keeping the same data. So the data model will be there. It will not change. Okay, so now we are looking at the project listing. You can see different projects, different attributes. It's pretty much the same information as you had in the previous version. Another sneak peek, let's click on the risks. Familiar information, new way to show the project risks. I think it looks great. It's really easy to see, easy to look at. And then, I mean, lots of these enhancements that we are doing here are from the feedback from our customers. And one of the things that have been mentioned many times are the filters, which we have in Silverbucket. Many filters, many things you can do with this. Now we are trying to make this even more better. Let's see how it looks like today, so in this new version. So here we have a place where you can open up the different filters. And now we are looking at the projects. So I am going to check how the project filters look like. From the left side, you can actually now choose whatever kind of filters you would like to have in your own search. This is new. Let's say I would like to see invoiceable information here in the filters, and I would like to filter only the invoiceable projects. So I have now 3 filters here. Well, the first one is regarding people, so let's forget about that one for now. But now I am filtering projects which are active and invoiceable. We can click apply. And then we have a list of invoiceable active projects. I wanted to see the non-invoiceable ones. Apply. Only 2. Now, this is really handy when you know that you can actually make your own filter sets with this. We can save them, you can use them as you wish, and they will be there to help you to find out whatever kind of information you need. I have one example of new filters that have been asked from us many times. That would be the select projects. With this one, you can actually cherry pick your projects for the filter. So I would like to see from the invoiceable and active projects only these 3 projects. We can select them, apply, and now if everything goes like in the movies, I will only see those 3.
Is there an item limit? How many projects?
In the filter?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think quite a many.
Okay.
Janni, maybe you know this one.
No limit.
Yeah, it could be something thousands or so, because the URLs, the browsers, that they might here.
Okay, so basically under 100, you can just dig.
Yeah. Most definitely. So you can kind of make your own project group and focus on that and save it as a filter set. And
exactly. So now I could say save new, and this would be my set of projects. Let's keep it private. Save changes. And now I have a filter set, my set of projects, which I could like cherry pick.
With the private attribute, you can make global filter sets or just keep them to yourselves.
I have a question here. Will the milestone graph still be there?
Milestone graph.
Yes, these sketches of, well, the working version of our tool doesn't contain all the views, all the graphs that we have in the current version, but we will most definitely bring them to this page or to some other page, phase by phase. So we try to keep all the existing features and graphs and so on also in the new user interface, but we might change the places or the visuals somehow. So some changes will happen, but we try to always bring you the same information that you have in the current version also.
Yeah. And one more anecdote about these filters. I can easily disable one of these like this. So it's still in my set, but let's say for now, for some reason, I want to get rid of that one, apply, and now I have all the invoiceable projects here. I simply disabled that one filter line. That's really handy. All right. So that's the filters in a nutshell. And as Janne mentioned, now we are previewing more or less the look and feel and some of the features, but there in this demonstration we do not have all the new functionalities that will be coming along the way.
Yeah, it's still under development.
Heavily. Okay.
We're planning to show the competency filters at this point also.
At the people.
Right.
Yeah. And then we could look at the allocation part. Let's head to one of the projects. This is kind of the dashboard of this Pallas project here. We have
you could show the current version as a reminder.
Sure. Let's look at the project listing and head to the Pallas. And this is the dashboard. And here you can see the allocation grid. And this would be the new area.
And in this page, we are dividing some of the information to different tabs. And if you scroll a bit to the top, you can see planning, dashboard, basic, and so on. So we will split some of the information into different tabs so that each individual tab will be a bit simpler than in the current version.
Yes, and the navigation should be quite simple as well. All right, so let's see how to do the allocations. So in current version of Silverbucket, for example, you can click a box and select a value, and here we go. So that's still there. No worries. We were trying to figure out how to actually make this even better. And so we are now giving the possibility in this grid to use the mouse in a lot more different ways. Like this. So now I simply painted that one line with many grids, boxes, time slots, and selected the value. But there's more.
There always is.
There is more. So what hasn't been possible before is today. That's the future we are living in. So what we can actually do, if you, for example, think of this project as an absence type project, and you would like to set up the, let's say, Christmas holidays for people at a glance. So we can also paint now between the different lines. Here you go. This hasn't been possible before. So now we can have many people, many time slots with one gesture of a mouse, and we're ready.
This makes the overall planning a lot faster.
Yes. And as you can see in this small dialog which opens up here, okay, you can select different values, of course, as in the previous version. We are adding more functionalities here as well. So we can use this max functionality, kind of like fill up the rest of the remaining allocations, the free capacity that the person has. No need to know how much that is. It will simply fill it. Or we might have some kind of budget behind this information that would be used as the allocations. We can even distribute that selection between the different boxes, meaning that, let's say I will put 1,000 hours, then it will distribute that to the different time slots.
Yeah, that was actually a question of the line. Is it possible to add hours, not only percentages? But
yes.
You just answer it. And also a comment on the line, great improvements. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
Yes, the distributed selection, that's a feature that people have been asking for quite a long time, and now it's coming, and it's huge. Because you might have a project and you know the hours that you're going to spend, and you just want to spread it evenly for the next 3 months or so. So now it's possible.
Yeah.
Also a question about the budget that you just showed. Which budget can you fill up? Is it periodic budget per user?
Yeah, our plan is to bring the budget to the person level, and then when you have planned the budget, then you can just use it for making the allocations. We might even bring some new action buttons to the dialogue when we go further with the development. Let's see about that.
And let's clear the information. Like this.
Once again, question, did you say that the people part is not yet ready to be shown? That's where we mostly do the planning.
We will show also parts of the people side, just in a second.
Yeah, all the kind of the needed functionality is already there, and Tommy will show it.
Yeah. But let's stick onto this project dashboard just for a while. Now we were looking at these project roles. Of course, we have these grouping functionalities here as well. So we can look at this information grouped by people. Roles. I have 2 different roles here. And also by tasks. And now let's see what happens. Now we are still looking at the same information, but now grouped by the tasks which have been bind to the project roles. But now this is new, the black lines. Maybe Janne, would you like to mention something about the lines?
Yeah, that's quite a big change in Silverbucket. Before this new user interface, you couldn't draw a Gantt chart of a project, but now you can. You just set the start and end date for each task, and we will show you the timelines of each of them. So there you have it. And then, of course, you can still expand each of the tasks and see the individuals under there and plan their hours.
Is it one level down, or can you still split those milestones further? Like if you want to split implementation, for example, into 4 different stages of implementations, can you do that, or is this one level down from the project level?
It's one level down. Yeah, that's the kind of the basic idea behind Silverbucket. We want to keep it a bit higher than the task management software.
Yeah.
So it's easier to make the planning, overall planning in that sense.
Yeah.
But we will bring in some of the views, we still bring the milestone information that Silverbucket also has. So you can use those as a guidelines within the day.
When do we get it?
I would say that the first part of next year is the first release of some of these views. But as I said, we will bring them not one by one, but one, like a set of screens, and then more and more.
And I would say that with this Gantt chart, we are kind of like taking one step to the direction that you mentioned, because before we didn't have this one. And now that we are looking at the schedules of the tasks, remember we are still in the allocation page. So what we can do is we can actually start to allocate looking at the schedules of the tasks. So that's now easier than ever, I would say.
And our philosophy has always been that you can allocate past the kind of the deadline, but we make it visible. So if you do it, you instantly see that, okay, the task deadline is here, but you made the plans over here. So why did you do that? Maybe change the end date also.
So,
yeah, our audience also thinks that the tasks are fantastic.
Great. And
nice to hear.
And now we have allocated based on the task schedules. And I think it looks quite nice. And Am I promising too much? Can we someday move the schedules from this view, or
Well,
let's see?
that was the plan. We don't have it ready yet, but soon. So then you can change the start date and end date of the task right there and just drag it.
Now we have to do it because I mentioned it.
Janne, can you repeat the first idea of the timeline? So when to release the first version approximately?
The first quarter next year. I'm pretty sure that you will get to test it then.
All right. And of course, we are keeping the different time scales. Now we are looking at the weeks. We could look at the months, and you can see the task schedules are there as well. Looks quite nice. Even the quarters. So we are keeping all the old functionalities, but bringing in some more.
We have a quite specific question. I guess it was when you were making these project level allocations. So when you made allocations with 20% of allocations, so well, why did the overall allocations turn red?
That's a good question, and actually the total row colors, they are not correct yet. So they will change a bit, because it's not easy to calculate the capacity of a task. So we will provide some kind of different kind of colors showing on the task level.
Yeah, because we are now in the relative mode. So it's kind of weird situation to summarize the percentages on the project level.
So it's simply the sum of
it is the sum.
Moment.
Correct. It is the sum.
Kind of an FTE or something like that.
Could be that.
Exactly.
But of course, we are bringing in the FTE as is also. So that's.
Yes. So we will show the sum, the kind of actual numbers, but on the task mode, we will change the colors, as the red doesn't really mean anything in this case.
So that was about the projects. We could now look at the people side a little bit. Here is, let's look at the old version. We have the people listing. And here we have the new version. Kind of the same as the project listing, the same idea. We have some icons representing the user type. That's kind of a new thing here. We have also the tabs that Janne mentioned, so we can easily switch between the allocations and the basic information of the users.
Is this view always constant, or would it be possible to include there some other fields?
That's the thing that we've been talking about.
For instance, we have our business unit information in the cost center field, and that's something we always need that information, but then it doesn't come directly in the data exports, for instance. So it would be nice to have a kind of selection of these.
I think we can arrange it quite fast to the data exports.
Mm-hmm.
And our plan is for the views that incrementally we are going to take these further also. So the idea at some point is to make it possible to pick your own colors.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen in the Q1.
Q2 then.
Could be.
Okay, now we have a schedule for that. Let's look at the filters on the people side as well. So exactly the same kind of UI. Let's first use the default filters. So I'm looking at all our active personnel. And as with the project filters, we can select whatever we would like here to use. Let's, for example, Janne mentioned about these competencies. Where might they be?
There.
Here we go. Let's add competence filter. Let's set some competencies. And this is how you actually pick the skills that you would like to include in the search. Now I have two categories here. Let's open the programming one. And now with each skill, I can directly select here, would I need to have all of these skills in the search or just some of them?
Yeah, we have two boxes. The left one, if you fill it, then the search will try to find those people that have all those listed competencies. And then the right side box, if you have many of them there, then at least one of them needs to match the person. So kind of like mandatory requirements and then optional requirements for the person. That's a new feature compared to the current version.
Yes. So now I'm trying to find people having Python and C++ skills. And let's click apply. We have 4 of them here. So that's really handy.
So now they know either Python or C++ or both.
As with the projects, we also have this select users here. So this is a really handy way to do your own user groups. Like Janne mentioned with the projects, you can select the people you would like to include in the search, then simply save that as a filter. And you have kind of like your own virtual user group, which you can always select from the filter sets. And by the way, now if I would like to get rid of the competence filter just for a while, I can click here. It's disabled. I will use it later on for my virtual user group. But now I could select the people that I would like to include in my group like this, apply, and now I should see those 5 persons here. Okay, who is able to do actually the coding? Let's enable this filter once again, apply, only 2 of them. That's really handy. So basically, those filters are the same as with the project. All right. We can also hide the filter bar like this. You can see this green
Indicator.
yeah, button indicator, whatever. And because it's green, it means that we are doing some filtering behind the scenes.
Yeah, you have active filters.
Yes.
At the moment.
And let's clear them all so we can have all the people here as well. And now we can click the allocations tab and see what happens when we look at the people allocations part.
Maybe show the current version just to compare of the
Yeah,
people allocations.
yes.
I mean,
People allocations, current version. And the new one. If I expand Isabella, I'm able to do the allocations here as well. Here you go.
And now it's really fast to, let's say, clear 1 week or 1 month from a person. In the current version, you need to click each of the week projects that she or he has, but now you just kind of paint the whole area and clear it. So it's a lot faster.
And we also have these add project role functionalities in many different places. So for example, here I could simply add Isabella to a new project.
2 questions. First on, can you make a wider range as in the current version?
Wider range?
I guess meaning weekly or monthly or
Yes.
quarterly
Yes.
modes.
Now, for example, we are looking at the months.
Yeah.
We have the same time scales. You have the daily, weekly, monthly, and also the quarters.
Yeah, another question. We have some teams with 30 persons. Is it anyway possible to see all of them in one class?
Yes, you can use the filters, pick the organization node or the user group they are in, or just hand pick the people as Tony showed earlier. So yes, you can.
Was the question about that how many lines of data you see? So if someone would like to see all the persons, 30 persons on the same view, without scrolling? Or...
Yes, there will be some limit. I don't know by heart what the kind of limit for one page is, but it will be more than 30 people.
But how about zooming out to see smaller boxes and see more data in one view?
You mean kind of like on the horizontal?
Can you zoom that out? What happens if you zoom it out?
No, it will, the amount of weeks, it will stay the same.
But how about the amount of lines? Can you fit more lines if you zoom your browser?
Well, yeah, sure. But the page size will kind of stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually the original question I misinterpreted it.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yes. We might bring the kind of tight layout also, but now we are just focusing on this.
Yeah.
If you expand one of the persons,
Yeah.
so kind of this information will be on the user dashboard. When you focus on to a certain person, then basically when you are looking at the allocations, it's this, Poppy Clark and their projects over there. Of course, the screen will have other data also available, but the allocation planning will be this, basically this functionality.
Yes. I guess this was the most important pages that we have to show you at the moment, and the kind of like the refreshed user interface. Janne, do you have any other closing words or ideas of what we might show? I think we have gone through the pages.
Yeah, I think we have. The plan is to bring this as fast as possible to all of you also, so that you can try it. I think Reija has already sent some marketing emails and asking about people who would like to test it first. and we have gotten a lot of responses already, so thank you for that. And we will then get back to you when this is available. And if you have a test environment from us, we can put it first there, so no worries about the data. You can try and change the data without messing up the production environment.
Once again, here we have a question. In the old version, when you allocate, you can see the free capacity. How does it look in this new user interface?
Yeah, if you expand one of the persons, over there, there's a minor glitch in the coloring in this version, but on the single lines, there's the kind of the background color and then the bottom border. Even in this view, we will show the background color will be the lines allocation level, and then the bottom border will show the total allocation. So just looking at that, you basically see that if there's still room. And then we are bringing more kind of data rows under each line to show even the exact numbers of the free capacity.
Yes.
So maybe the question was more about this current painting gesture to be able to see this weekly or monthly availability directly when painting.
Yeah, it's not shown in this version, but we will bring kind of the numbers and the colors. It won't be exactly the same as in the current version, but we try to bring the information available when making the changes.
Yeah. Then a question about the reports. Any plans to improve them? So a comment that currently it feels hard to track what allocations have been changed, by whom, how much, etc.
Yes, we will focus on the reports also. One core idea is to bring them closer to the kind of these views. For example, this view, we try to bring the comparison report where you can compare actuals to the planned hours. You don't need to navigate to the report section and so on. And other enhancements, of course, will be done.
And we are also bringing the journal functionality, which will track different things happening for the project. One of those could be the changes in the allocations and whatnot. And the same thing would be under person as well. So that kind of enhanced logging mechanisms for the different concepts.
A request from the line. So is it possible to show the allocation graph?
It's not available in this version yet. The colors, they will change a bit and kind of the user interface of the graph, but of course we will maintain the graph as it is an important part of the whole view.
Any other questions?
Generic comment on the line, put enhancements to the appearance and functionality. It will work well.
Okay.
Thank you.
How about the undo command? I am still trying to bring that.
Maybe at some point. Yeah, it's
Because with this version, it's even more simpler to remove allocations or change allocations for all team, for example.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not that simple to implement, so we have to look at that at some point.
Are you planning any changes to the reporting part?
To the reporting part? Yes, yes. We know that we are lacking of some reports and some of them are not that user friendly, so we will focus on them also. But we are not trying to kind of create all the reports our customers need. That's why we are providing really good APIs and export functionality so that people can then maybe use Power BI or some other reporting tools for that.
This is, I guess, a follow-up question. So, was it so that the milestone list doesn't still exist?
Yeah, not in this version, yes. So some of the features of the current version, they are not here yet, but we are working on them all the time.
Then about projects timeline graph, are any changes there to come? Would be good to be able to expand the window to fit more number of projects in there.
I guess this one.
This one. Yeah, we have to look at that also. No exact plans for this, how wide or high it will be and so on. So we will kind of enhance these incrementally as the project goes on.
Are you planning to add this like Gantt functionality on the project allocations view? Because I think that would solve the issue about the timeline. So you would actually get Gantt representation of all of your projects on the project allocations view.
That's actually a good question and a good idea. I think, yeah.
So it would be kind of the same as with the tasks,
Yes.
but having the project
At
schedule.
project level.
Yeah.
Then you get kind of the larger list.
Yeah. Then you have the timeline embedded to project allocation.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's such a new feature that we haven't even thought about that yet. Yeah.
Any other questions on the online?
I see that somebody's typing, so wait for it.
All right.
No pressure.
Yeah.
But how do you think we were having this like a general Q&A in the end of this session? Maybe we could kind of like a slide into that one as well, because I think it would be a good idea to have all different kinds of questions. If you have any.
Almost there already, so if you have any questions about the current version or the new version or just anything, feel free to ask.
Can you consider to make it more easy to find free capacity, for example, searching on a specific role?
Yes, we have plans for that also. For example, when in the project view, when you are kind of finding a new user or new person to the project, we have plans that we will provide a new dialog which helps you find a free person. So we try to provide indicators that if they are free or do they match the skill set that is needed and so on. So yes, we are bringing those kind of features also later on the project. And if you have some kind of specific feature requests on that or some others, of course you can send us email so we kind of get the list of the needs. It's always nice to hear how people would like the product to go further.
I'm not quite sure if this refers to, maybe it refers to people listing, project listing, so the left column looks wide. Can I, as a user, narrow it?
Left column.
The code, I presume.
Or the people. Let's look at the
people.
So that would be the user column.
You can't change kind of the width of one column, but we will try to find ways to fit as much information as possible to the view.
Question about customer list. Is it not available to delete a customer? Is it only possible to archive? Yeah, well, this is related to a situation where there are lots of piloting or testing customers who are not needed.
I can't even remember if we have a delete.
Actually, I can answer by myself. So that's behind a specific permission. So even if I remember correctly, even if you are an administrator, so by default you are not able to delete a customer. So you need some special permission in order to do that.
Okay, but it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible, and it's already possible.
And there is a reason why we try to kind of make the delete operation a bit harder, since if we delete a customer, then we need to delete all the projects that belong to the customer. And if we delete the projects, we will delete all the allocations that have been made to the project. So if you want to keep the history data, then please don't delete, use the archive. But if it's like okay to delete all the data that relates to the entity, then by all means use delete.
Yeah, and further discussion about that. So yeah, please contact our support for that purpose.
Yes. Good questions. Any more?
Have we answered all the questions in the world by now, or?
Yeah.
At least all the answers, all the questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question: how to follow up and project? I'm not quite sure what that means.
Follow up on the budgets or the progress, maybe.
That might, yeah, budget and so on.
Yeah, we will bring kind of the same kind of a graph that the current version already has, is the S-curve. So cumulative data, where we show the actual hours and the planned hours. Also on the kind of euro side, how much of money has been spent and how much has been budgeted and so on. So we try to bring also those kind of graphs and information blocks that show the progress of the project.
Question about the integrations. So integrations made for the old version, will they work for the new version as well?
Yes. So the kind of the core will stay the same. The interfaces will stay the same. We are making them better, but they are not changing in the backend system. So yes, they will stay. We are just changing the user interface. It will use the same database, same data. So no worries for that.
Any plans on the possibility of creating custom filters or groups in Project View? So current group by role or task often brings too few or too many people. So customizing this to the own needs would be great.
Was the question actually about how to filter this information? If I understood right. We had some ideas how to filter also these lists, right?
Yes, we do. So yeah, we will bring functionality to kind of pick a role, or if you have a large project where are working like 200 people, then we provide filters for that also. I don't know if that answered the question.
But that's at least something that has been asked before. Just that case, and you want to simply see all the electrical engineers, for example. So that's something that we are bringing in.
Any plans that we can customize people's calendars for the organization?
The calendars can be configured even now, but you need to contact our support. But yes, we have ideas of providing user interface for that also. So you can go and pick a calendar and change the holiday dates by yourself.
So different people can have different calendars in your environment.
Yes.
Yes.
Even now and in the future also.
Can you have a filter as defaulting in a project view? So currently this filter needs to be selected every time when logging in.
I mean, isn't the question, do we remember the selected filter?
Yes.
And we do.
Yeah, our plan is to try to remember all the user interface selections that people have made. Maybe not all of them are in the first version, but yes, the plan is that if you are kind of constantly using one of your filter sets, then we will keep it active when you next time log in.
And actually now you can see when I went back to this project listing, it already had this my set of projects filter in action. And there is this green mark actually explaining that there are some changes now for that specific filter, and I could simply click restore defaults. And now it's using that filter as a default.
Then question about employees' working time. So when it changes, the old allocations will also use the new working time. So any possibility to have some historical data for this working time?
We have been discussing about that also, but that is not coming, at least yet. But it's a good feature request.
Great questions.
Indeed. And you can always send them later to us via email, of course, if some questions pop into your mind.
Yeah, maybe we will wait for some final questions before we switch to the cocktails. So that will be the next part in the agenda.
Exactly. But sorry, it's only here, so please hurry up and come here if you want to enjoy the cocktails. Do you see anyone typing there or?
Well, I can see here comments that it looks fantastic. I'm looking forward to use this new Repocket version.
Thank you. And thank you for joining our event. And we are working hard to bring this to you as soon as possible. Okay, thank you for this. And thank you all you online also.
Thank you.